Imagine two people standing on the same 1,100-foot vessel in the middle of the Atlantic. Same steel hull, same horizon, same engines humming somewhere far below them. One is doing frantic arithmetic in their head, wondering if a $12 drink will trigger a cascade of automated fees they can't afford. They've already done the math on the gratuities, the Wi-Fi, the soda package, and the number is climbing faster than they planned. The other is currently having a bespoke itinerary for a private island excursion, drafted by a man who knows their children's names and their favorite vintage of Bordeaux. They are on the same ship, but they are not having the same experience. In fact, they aren't even in the same economy. Most people think a cruise is a vacation. In reality, it's a floating laboratory for how the world treats you based on your balance sheet. And by the time we reach the top, you'll see how the rules quietly stop applying.
At level 1, you are what the industry calls a cost. You booked a guarantee interior cabin at a rock-bottom rate. You don't even know your room number until you board. The ship assigns you a windowless box wherever it's most convenient for them. Like the bank account with a negative balance, the mechanism that responds to you is entirely automated. You aren't a guest. You're a logistical challenge to be managed. You try to bypass the automatic $18 a day gratuity at the guest services desk, and the line is 40 people deep. Everyone in it has the same complaint you do. This is what travel stress feels like. Not a cinematic disaster, but the slow realization that the all-inclusive price didn't include the $350 bottle of water in your room. It didn't include the photos, the specialty dining, or the excursion that was the entire reason you came. At this level, the ship has already been paid. Everything after that is just extraction.
At level 2, you have a standard ocean view cabin. You aren't in the red, but you are in the category the ship services and does not value. At this level, you are subject to the monthly maintenance fees of cruising, the $15 Wi-Fi charges, the $12 artisan coffees, and the 18% service charge added to every transaction. You start to notice a pattern. Every pleasure on this ship has a turnstile in front of it. The service you receive is not hostile, it is indifferent. The steward is polite, the buffet works fine, but if you have a problem, you wait in the same lines as level 1. You call guest services and you're on hold. You are a small number in an automated system. You're earning the cruise equivalent of 0.01% interest, getting the bare minimum of relaxation, while the cruise line owns a massive spread on everything you spend on top of the fare. You paid to get on board. Now you're paying again, all day in small increments, and the ship is counting every one of them. Then, at level 3, something changes. You've moved into a balcony cabin. You've reached the first tier of the loyalty program. The ship notices this algorithmically. Suddenly, offers start arriving. Not just flyers for the spa, but actual pre-approved upgrades. A note slides under your door. A drink appears that you didn't expect to be free. For the first time, the ship functions the way it does in the commercials. The automated indifference begins to thaw. You get a free bottle of sparkling wine in your room. It's a small thing that feels larger than it is because you spent so long at level 2 paying for every single drop. The crew starts to remember your face. The bartender starts your order before you ask. You are a customer now, recognized and serviceable. The ship wants to keep you because you've become a viable revenue source, and viable revenue sources get courted. At level 4, you have consistent travel capital. You're in a mini-suite. Your credit limit with the cruise line, your status, has increased without you ever asking for it. You now have priority boarding. You don't stand in the 40-person line at the pier. You walk through the gold lane, past everyone who's still waiting. You notice the looks. The price of the experience is lower for you now because you've demonstrated you're a low-risk, high-engagement traveler.
You get better rates on your time. Shorter waits, better table placements, the good table by the window without asking twice. The system begins to tilt in your favor, slowly and quietly, in ways the people one deck down never see. At level 5, you are now in the Haven, or the Yacht Club. You've crossed a glass door that exists on every ship, the one that separates the valuable from the precious. You've moved into the top tier of what most retail cruisers ever see. There's a private restaurant now, a private pool the crowds never reach, a key card that opens doors theirs won't. The phone line is different now, too. There is a dedicated concierge desk where the person who answers actually has the authority to waive fees and make exceptions. You have a named contact, a butler. It sounds like a relationship, and in some ways it is, though it exists within a commercial frame. They are attentive because their performance is measured by your retention. You are a preferred client, flagged in the system as someone worth protecting. When something goes wrong, it gets fixed before you finish the sentence. At level 6, you stop sailing on mass market ships entirely. You move to Silversea or Regent. The crowds are gone. The turnstiles are gone. The fare simply includes the things the lower decks were nickel and dimed for. The ship stops being a place you visit and becomes a service that comes to you. You aren't being sold excursions. You are being consulted. Someone sits down with you and asks about your risk tolerance for adventure and your dietary goals. They build the day around your answers. The motivation is still commercial, but the experience is entirely personalized. When a problem occurs, it is resolved in the same conversation. No escalations, no scripts. No one tells you they'll look into it. You are an asset to the line now, not a customer to be processed. At level 7, the cruise line starts offering things that are not on the website. There is no public page for what you're being sold because it isn't sold to the public. This includes unposted rates and access to experiences not available to anyone outside the room. A harbor cleared for your arrival. A chef flown in for a single dinner. Your advisor, the shoreside executive, is a specialist who works your account directly. They coordinate with your private estate manager. They know your calendar before you confirm it. They meet with you in rooms that don't look like cruise ship lounges at all. You get special treatment, which really means the internal policies of the company have discretion built into them. And that discretion is always exercised in your favor. The word no doesn't disappear. It just stops being aimed at you. And then there's level 8. At level 8, you don't have a butler. You have a relationship. You are on a private yacht or a residential ship like the World, where the apartments are owned, not booked. This is the private banking of the sea. The rules become flexible, not broken, flexible. The ship doesn't break laws, but it exercises every legal degree of discretion to find a way to say yes. A port that's technically closed, a request that's technically impossible. Somehow, quietly, it happens anyway. The captain knows your foundation's goals. They know what you are trying to protect and what you can't afford to have go wrong. The crew isn't serving a cabin number. They're serving a name they were briefed on before you ever stepped aboard. The system that was automated and indifferent at level 1 is now human and oriented toward your every whim. Think about that distance for a moment. At the bottom, you fought a machine over the price of a bottle of water. At the top, an institution reorganizes itself around what you might want next. You are no longer a client. You are a line item in a CEO's performance review. Losing you would matter to people whose careers depend on you. Your satisfaction is on someone's quarterly report. Your displeasure is a problem that lands in a boardroom. That is a different kind of power than anything else on the ocean. The same sea, the same ship sometimes, but 8 completely different worlds. And the only thing that moved you between them was the number on your balance sheet. So the next time someone tells you a cruise is just a vacation, remember the 2 people at the start. Same vessel, same Atlantic, 2 entirely different lives. The ocean doesn't decide which one you live.